Republicans responding line by line, lie by lie to President Obama's speech on the Iran deal?
Look, that's a great question. So the president comes out, first of all, we knew that he was narcissistic. We knew there were no limits to his ego, but now he's trying to compare himself to Ronald Reagan. Now, just line by line, so President Reagan negotiated from a position of strength, not weakness. He understood peace through strength. He invested in our military. This president's hollowing out our military. President Reagan understood he was trying to make the Soviet Union weaker and bring down the evil empire. President Obama's deal will strengthen Iran, giving them tens of billions of dollars, allowing them to become even closer and eventually a nuclear power, could start a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. President Reagan, most importantly, understood trust but verify. This president has given up anytime, anywhere verification. So the reality is that she asked a great question. You know, the president had the temerity to try to compare himself to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan strengthened America, stood with Israel. Our allies trusted it. Our enemies feared and respected us. President Obama is the first president that I know, that I remember, that doesn't believe in American exceptionalism. I used to go around saying he was the worst president, and my apologies, I know I'm in Atlanta. Or in the greater Atlanta area. I used to go around saying that he was the worst president since Jimmy Carter. After President Obama's reelection, I apologized. That was disrespectful to the president. So I publicly apologized to Jimmy Carter. That wasn't fair to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter believed in American exceptionalism. He was just incompetent. So she is exactly right. Republicans should go line through line. The facts are on our side. This is a bad deal. Look, the president may not have been able to get a better deal, but America can get a better deal. His failure shouldn't become our failure.
This is a good question from Al in Texas. After the BP oil spill, the president shut down drilling in Louisiana off the shore. Has drilling and production resumed in the Gulf, and how did it affect economically Louisiana?
Well, that's a great question. I strongly fought the moratorium. Look, I'm a lifelong resident of Louisiana, born and raised there. My kids are all born there. I want to see Louisiana's coast restored. I want to see Louisiana doing well, and we've fought to get that done. Thought the moratorium was a mistake. And I got to tell you, I remember having a conversation with Valerie Jarrett, and at one point she was chiding me because I was publicly opposing the moratorium, and she said, "Governor, why are you worried? Where are those rigs going to go? I mean, as long as there's oil down there, they're not going to leave." I said, "Jarrett, Valerie, you know they're mobile platforms, right? You know this equipment's going to Brazil and Africa and other places." There was silence. I honestly don't think they realized this was mobile equipment that could easily pick up and leave, and once it's left, it's going to take a long time to get back. So where we are was a huge economic impact to our state. And you can't just flip a switch on and off. These are massive, massive investments in pieces of equipment. We eventually got back. It took us a couple of years. We eventually got back to where production was before the moratorium. But look, we lost a couple of years of growth. So we're not where we would have been, but we certainly got back to where we were before. Then the collapse in oil prices happened, and obviously that had its own impact. But it took us a while, and it was a very, very hard impact on thousands of blue-collar workers. So the next time you hear Hillary Clinton saying that she's for middle-class families, next time you hear President Obama saying he's for middle-class families, ask them, how does your moratorium, how does your EPA policies, how does that help to bring good-paying manufacturing jobs? We're not talking about minimum wage jobs. Good-paying blue-collar manufacturing jobs back into this country. And I've got a plan to get us to be energy independent, bring those jobs back. How does their EPA overreach? How does their moratorium? But let's be honest, they want energy to be scarce. They want it to be expensive. There's an ideological rationale for their actions in the EPA. So the good news is we got back to where we were before the spill, but we didn't recover all that missed growth that we would have had if he hadn't done that moratorium.
Governor Bobby Jindal.
Thank y'all very, very much.